Visitor counts nearly double every time they bring a T-Rex into the game. We're going to talk about that and more fun T-Rex facts as I sketch this little dino bird. So let's just turn the page and start drawing. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I got thrown off because my button's messed up there. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is 5:30 in the morning on a Tuesday morning. Are we sure it's not still Monday? 5:30 in the morning on Tuesday mornings is when I like to do a little thing where I pull a random object from the Random Object Randomogrifier and I draw it and we talk about it. And today's random object from the Random Object Randomogrifier is T-Rex, Tyrannosaurus Rex, Dino Bird. And I love the dino birds. I've always loved dino birds. I've loved them since I was a young kid. I've done presentations about dinosaurs to fellow students in high school, and then all the way through college, I would give presentations to elementary kids about dinosaurs. I love them. I am a genuine dinosaur nerd. I've been my whole life. And my kids are dinosaur nerds. I can't imagine where they got it from. It's crazy.
No.
We're having some digital phone issues. My phone is not wanting to connect to my mother. My mother runs the chat. She tells me if anything happens in the chat that I need to be aware of. Like somebody asks a question, says hello, and has a comment that they need responded to. And she talks to me on my phone. She's the angelic voice you hear overhead, except her angelic voice today is digital noise. I see Claudia is here. Good morning, Claudia. Good morning, Rick. Good to have you back, buddy. Pamela awake yet? Glad to see you guys. Talking to my friends in the chat. Dear friends of the show. Tyrannosaurus Rex was one of the last ones. He was one of the last ones to die off in the Cretaceous, 65 to 70 million years ago. And they put him in the movies. They put him fighting other animals like Stegosaurus. But truthfully, Stegosaurus was 300 million years ago. Tyrannosaurus was actually closer in the timeline to us than he would have been to a Stegosaurus. There's no real hope of him having fought a Stegosaurus. But even movies like The Land Before Time, where the antagonist is called Sharptooth throughout the movie, is a T-Rex. You have Grumpy the Stegosaurus, one of the... Is his name Grumpy? What was his name? As one of the baby dinosaurs trying to find their way to the promised land there, as they all got separated from their parents. It was Littlefoot, Ducky, Sarah. What's his name? Grumpy? It doesn't matter. He was Stegosaurus. And he wouldn't have been in that time frame. What's wrong?
Yeah. Guess what I'm wondering. Who are you talking about?
The dinosaur in The Land Before Time.
Oh, okay.
Am I just rambling? In my mind, I'm talking about the dinosaur in The Land Before Time, but who knows what I'm actually talking about?
Well, Rick says he wishes he was going to try his first watercolor one.
I cannot understand you at all. I understood Rick and watercolor. Going to try his first watercolor since grade school this morning. That's cool, Rick. That sounds like fun. I'm going to do a little watercolor later also. I thought about switching to acrylic. I thought about going back to just doing pencil sketches. You know, when I started a year and a half ago on this, I was just doing pencil sketches. And I thought about going back to that, but I just love the watercolor so much. I just love what we do so much. You look so happy. Not like a killer at all. Honestly, between this toy and the toy we did yesterday, the rabbit yesterday looked meaner. There's Pamela. Good morning, Pamela. They have a bite force, a calculated bite force of about 8,000 pounds per square inch. Their crushing teeth can do 431,000 pounds per square inch. That's a huge bite force. But the 8,000 pounds per square inch, that's about 4 times what a crocodile can do. And that's significant because they have one of the highest bite force ratios in the modern age. And they calculate that by measuring the length of the tendon here on the muscle and the leverage in the jaw. Am I out of ink? Why is that acting like I'm out of ink? My ink flow stopped on me, and I'm trying to figure out why. But it is a worldwide favorite. T-Rex is a worldwide favorite dinosaur. Every time a museum hosts a T-Rex, the visitor counts nearly double every time. So I'm not the only one enamored with T-Rex. It is a global phenomenon.
Why?
It's got to start with that dramatic name, I'm sure. Tyrannosaurus Rex, Thunder Lizard King. You know, and they did that on purpose. When they named him, that's a mix of Latin and Greek. They didn't, normally they either have Latin or Greek. It's not usually both. But they named him specifically to give him a more dramatic name because it got more attention from the press.
Land Before Time, it's Sharptooth.
Right, Sharptooth. But what was the name of the Stegosaurus character? That's what we were trying to figure out. I think it was Grumpy, but I'm not sure. Sleepy? They didn't call him Sleepy. I know they didn't call him Sleepy. That's what I was trying to figure out, was what the Stegosaurus character, because that was the conversation. They had a Stegosaurus in Land Before Time. They had a Stegosaurus animal in the same Spike. Duh. They had a Stegosaurus. They had a Stegosaurus character in the same time period as a T-Rex, and that, you know, of course, we're not watching cartoons for scientific accuracy, but you'll have.
How do you like Triceratops?
You know, Triceratops is a fun one too. I actually like them all. If I have to be honest, my absolute favorite is Parasaurolophus. But I can't tell you why, other than it's fun to say. And it was one of the first complicated names I learned to say as a child. Everybody was like, how do you say that? Parasaurolophus. You can say that? Parasaurolophus. That's the ones with the big trumpet on top of their heads that curves backwards. Pachycephalosaurus.
Since those are the dwarfs with Snow White.
Happy was a dwarf on Snow White. Grumpy was a dwarf on Snow White. My kids used to come down the stairs and be in a bad mood. And I would do something to irritate them, and my kid would say, "I'm not happy." Which dwarf are you? I can't say that anymore. They're twice my size. I mean, I can still say it. It just doesn't make any sense because I'm the dwarf. Dun, dun, dun. I forgot this side of his jaw. All right. Now we're ready for some shading. We got all the basics out of the way. Now we're ready for some shading, and that is my favorite part by far. Forgot to spritz my watercolors, so they won't be as creamy as they should be.
It wouldn't have mattered if you had spritz stuff.
I know, everything dries so quickly. It's crazy. Get me a little Payne's Gray going there. My own personal mix of Payne's Gray. And let's see if we can't turn this line drawing into a dimensional object. Because that is what makes this my favorite part, is how it transforms something from just lines on a page to a dimensional object. Is by far my favorite part. But to give you an idea about how popular T-Rex is, one of them sold at Christie's at auction for $31.8 million in 2020. A T-Rex skeleton. People love their dinosaurs. But they especially love T-Rex as a whole, as a as a large group, T-Rex is by and far the favorite. T-Rex has been a movie star since 1918. One of the very first animated movies, stop-action clay movie, had a T-Rex in it in 1918. It was, what was it? Ghost of Slumber Mountain. And it had an animated T-Rex, and it had a made of stop motion where they moved the little clay model across the screen. I don't know if it had human interaction in the same scene with the T-Rex, but you know, they discovered the T-Rex in 1900, and the fact that it was in a movie by 1918 is probably one of the reasons why it's one of the most popular. It's one of the most well-known dinosaurs. There's lots of other dinosaurs out there that are popular, but they're not as well known because they weren't discovered in the golden age of movies. So they never made it to the screen. And you can see that in Jurassic Park as they make discoveries. You can see that as they make discoveries, they start adding new dinosaurs into Jurassic Park that weren't there. May or may not have even been of the era, but they add them in because they've captured the attention of the world at the time. Can't talk, Artie.
Can you hear me okay now?
I heard that.
Okay. It's time for her to check out what she's doing in her sketchbook or journal. She might return to plants. What's her thoughts?
I've been feeling the need for change also. I've been thinking about doing a face journal, spending 20 minutes a day doing faces and maybe some figure work. I miss going to figure studies, going to figure drawing. But my dude that I used to go to figure drawing with, his studio, I don't know if he's actually closed his studio and moved to New Hampshire, or if he's still in the process of that. I don't know. But I quit going because that's what he said he was going to do. But I know this summer he's hosting a paper making. He's hosting a paper making workshop that I would have liked to have attended. But he also only does his class on Sunday. He used to do it on Tuesdays, and I can make it on Tuesdays, but I can't make it on Sundays because I won't give up my family time. Let me dry this real quick, then we can come back with some color. I like the idea of doing plants, Pamela? What did you say? Cacti?
Claudia suggested cacti.
Cacti? Claudia thinks you should do cacti. You know what? Cacti came to mind for me as well. What do they call that group of plants? It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember. I'm not prepared. I have the memory of a goldfish. What's this? A castle? Succulents. That's the word I'm trying to think of. Succulents. Vermilion. And Pamela said succulents the same time I did. But succulents succulents are not all the same thing as cactus, are they? Not all succulents are cactus. All cactus are succulents, but not all succulents are cactus.
Correct.
Yeah, sounds like Johnny Carson and Ed. What was his name? You are correct, sir. That orange could be darker. That vermilion. Could be just a little darker. There we go. I like that. I'm going to live with that. He says as he dips his brush in the vermilion one more time to get one more coat. All right, let me dry that and then we can anchor. Claudia says, Claudia says it sucks when you can't remember the word succulent. I'm going to use my ultra fine pen here to put some of these scales on this thing. The scales get lost in the watercolor. And I have to remember that it is a toy. And I keep trying to draw realistic features onto it. And I do this all the time. I quit looking at the toy and I remember anatomy, and I start adding realistic features that aren't there because it's a toy. Or I leave off some very important toy features because in my head it's a real T-Rex. But it is not a real T-Rex, it is a toy T-Rex. T-Rex, I started to tell you, T-Rex has been a movie star since 1918. Some of the most popular movies of the day. I mean, it was in Ghost of Slumber Mountain. It was in The Lost World in 1925. It was in King Kong in 1933. I mean, it's no wonder the popularity is because it has been in the pop culture since the dawn of the age of movies. It has been in pop culture. So it's no real wonder why it captures so many kids' attention, so many people's attention, because it has, like I said, it's been in the culture forever. It's one of the first dinosaurs that gets presented to us, even as children today. I mean, it was in Fantasia in 1940, Jurassic Park in 1993, and then in all 5 of the Toy Story movies. It was the bad guy in the first, I don't know, 5. How many iterations of Land Before Time are there now? I think they're up to like 55. I have no idea. They made a whole series of them. How many times can you get lost and have to find your way back to the promised land as a child? But Littlefoot and crew seem to get lost quite frequently. Anyway, the first one captured everybody's imagination. The second one, not so much. But I think they're up to 20 something now.
The base result.
Hi, Lavis. Good morning. Thank you. Lavis, la base. Give us a phonetic. Thank you for the nice words.
Did I tell you can manipulate lessons?
How are they going? I know that you were doing it. I think I even saw you had a little bit of a 3 or 4 minute clip on YouTube. How is that coming along for you? Can you play? Can you play Somewhere Over the Rainbow yet? Or I like you and you like me and we like both the same. The interesting thing, there's lots of interesting things about it, but one of the things that always stands out to me about dinosaurs is how popular they are and how much they claim to know about them, and how everybody has all these opinions of them, and there are only 50 specimens. And most of those are partials. There are only 50 Tyrannosaurus specimens in the world, and most of those are partials. What is today? Today is the 30th. And most of those are partials, but they tell you stories and facts about them. And I try to limit my facts to things that we can prove, like for instance the calculation of the bite force is a calculation, and the movies that they've been in, I can prove the movies they've been in, and I think the timeline is probably pretty accurate. Let's see, this is my name on this side. Almost forgot my name. But there's only 50 specimens, and that's a lot for a dinosaur. That's actually quite a lot of specimens for dinosaurs. But it is one of the most popular mascots. Kids all over want to be the dinos or something, especially in Montana, Wyoming. They want to be the dinos, their little league team. And the silhouette that they choose, or the mascot that they choose, is a Tyrannosaurus. You can see the Tyrannosaurus playing the jumping game over succulents in Google. If you get trapped on Google for too long, there's a video game that comes across the top to occupy your time. Mozilla, which ended up becoming Firefox, but the Mozilla brand web client its mascot was a Tyrannosaurus. And it's just a very popular and highly recognizable silhouette, specifically because it has been in the public eye since 1918, since it was discovered in 1900. But it made it to the movie, started making it to the movie screen in 1918, and that's impressive. Anyway, there's my version compared to the photograph. Let's see what it looks like from my perspective. From my perspective, there we go. From my perspective, it's about like that. I had to truncate the tail because I got it too close to the edge. Composition matters, people. All right, so that's what I did this morning. Tomorrow, what do we have tomorrow? Oh, the suspense. The suspense, whatever could it be? I like to keep you guys in suspense. The suspense drags it out a little bit, makes it a little more fun and exciting for me. So tomorrow, we have a Powhatan warrior. Now, we've done this one before. I don't know if we've ever done it in watercolor. I think the last time we did it was just pencil. I'm not sure. I'll have to go back and look. But this is a Powhatan warrior, and the English colonists described the Powhatan warriors as tall, lean, handsome, brave, and fierce. But the truth of the matter is the Powhatans actually preferred diplomacy. They actually married into each other's tribes to prevent war quite a bit, to the point where they had 30 million members in a cross-tribal confederacy. We'll talk about that and more fun Powhatan warrior facts tomorrow morning at 5:30 a.m. Texas time, while we sketch this brave little dude. So you're going to want to set your notification bell for that so you don't miss it. But today, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Lavis, Clement, Claudia, Pamela, Rick, Mom, Dad. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. It makes it exciting for me when I get to come downstairs and art with my besties. It's my favorite time of the day. I literally run down the stairs so I can get down here and get to do this. It holds me accountable to my art practice, and is often the only art I get to do in a day. So thank you so much for joining me. Be sure and tune in tomorrow. Same Artistic Biker time, same Artistic Biker channel, and then we dance. We dance until somebody says they see me dancing. Because when they see me dancing, I will know that the lag has caught up with the stream. That will let me know that everybody has had a chance to say hello and goodbye to each other. It will give everybody a chance to ask any questions of each other that they may have. It will give, the most important thing though is it'll make sure, it'll give you a chance to click clicky things. This way if you're on the horizontal, this way if you're on the vertical, that way you can watch another amazing video just like this one. But the most important thing is it'll make sure that I don't get cut off mid-sentence, because